Good day. We continue to keep you updated on the news in Ukraine. Today is April 8th, 2024. Russians have again shot unarmed prisoners of war, this time near Krinka on the left bank of the Kherson region. The video was published on April 7th on his Telegram channel by activist Sergei Sternenko. The video shows a representative of the Russian occupation forces firing several shots towards unarmed stationary military personnel, presumably with a rifle. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense refutes any attempt to accuse it of involvement in armed provocations at the occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Andriy Yusov, a representative of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, stated that Russia is responsible for any simulated or real attacks on nuclear energy facilities. According to Yusov, Russian actions at the Zaporizhzhia NPP, including the deployment of troops and weapons, constitute criminal practices of occupiers, posing a threat to Europe's nuclear security. He called on Russia to withdraw its troops from all nuclear power plant facilities to restore compliance with international norms and ensure control over them. Earlier this month, the IAEA reported an explosion of a drone on the territory of the Zaporizhzhia NPP, but the detailed circumstances of the incident remain unknown. Earlier, Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal reported over 150 serious violations of nuclear power plant operation during the 2 years of occupation, posing a threat to safety. Main events of the night and morning, April 8th, attack of Shahed drones in southern Ukraine. Russian terrorist forces once again attacked southern Ukraine with Shahed 131-136 drones. It is noted that they managed to deploy 7 barrage shells and also caused damage to a logistics and transportation facility in the Odessa region. Fortunately, there are no casualties among the civilian population. Shelling in the Kharkiv region. Houses and power lines were damaged in the Kharkiv region as a result of overnight shelling. However, fortunately, there is no information about casualties among the civilian population. In the past day, the Ukrainian Defense Forces successfully eliminated an additional 890 Russian occupiers. Overall, since the beginning of the conflict, Russia has lost 448,400 military personnel in Ukraine. This information was reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. During the past day, over 100 populated areas in the Chernihiv, Sumy, Kharkiv, Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, Dnipropetrovsk, Kherson, and Mykolaiv regions were under artillery fire. On the Volyn and Polisia directions, the operational situation remains unchanged. On the Siversky and Slobozhansky directions, the enemy maintains military presence in border areas, conducts sabotage activities to prevent the transfer of our troops to threatened directions, and increases the density of mine-explosive barriers along the state border. On the Kupiansk direction, the enemy did not conduct offensive assault actions. On the Limansk direction, our troops repelled 2 enemy attacks in the area of the Terny settlement in Donetsk region, where the enemy attempted to break through our troops' defense. On the Bakhmut direction, our troops repelled 31 attacks in the areas of the settlements Bilohorivka in Luhansk region, Chasiv Yar, Shpirne, Vyimka, Fedorivka, Rozdolivka, Vesele, Bodanivka, Ivanivske, Klishivka, and Andriivka in Donetsk region. On the Avdiivka direction, our defenders repelled 8 attacks in the areas of the settlements, Pervomaiske, Nevelske, and Netailov in Donetsk region, where the enemy attempted to dislodge our units from the occupied positions. On the Novopavlivka direction, the defense forces continue to contain the enemy in the areas of the settlements, Krasnohorivka, Pobieda, and Novomikhailivka, where the enemy, supported by aviation, attempted to break through our troops' defense 22 times. On the Orihiv direction, the enemy attacked the positions of our defenders 5 times in the areas of the settlements, Staromikhailivka in Donetsk region, Robotyne in Zaporizhzhia region. On the Kherson direction, the enemy persists in its intent to dislodge our units from the bridgeheads on the left bank of the Dnipro River. Thus, during the past day, the enemy made 8 unsuccessful attacks on our troops' positions. At the same time, our troops continue active actions to inflict losses on the occupation forces in personnel and equipment, and to exhaust the enemy along the entire line of combat confrontation. During the past day, the aviation of the defense forces struck at a command post, 5 anti-aircraft missile complexes, a communication tower, and 13 concentrations areas of personnel, equipment, and military vehicles of the enemy. Missile troops units struck at an anti-aircraft missile complex, a UAV control point, an artillery system, and 3 concentrations areas of personnel, equipment, and military vehicles of the occupiers.